right, man. Shedeur Sanders did not get drafted yesterday, and a lot of people said it, or a lot of insiders said it had to do with the fact that his father did Archie Manning. And what people got to understand is this, right? What the brothers have to understand, right? Y'all have to understand, and Dion did a lot of buffooning and raccooning. I mean, we got to throw that on the floor. Brother Dion did a lot of buffooning and raccooning. We have to throw that on the floor, right? For Riley Cooper, I mean, go back and back and back, but he playing the game, right? But what people got to realize is this. Dion is not as powerful as Dion think Dion is, if that make any type of sense. And what you understand, what they do don't mean we can do it. And I talked about this in my Shannon Sharp. I did a Shannon Sharp vertical live the other day. I talked about this. I talked about this, and I said that a lot of the brothers and sisters, they do this to their own kind. They don't do this to the Skip Baylesses. They don't do this to the Kevin Spaceys or the Harvey Weinsteins, because most brothers and sisters don't have the overall intellect when it comes to things outside of the black community, right? But another thing I will add with this story right here is that people have to understand that black people have to understand that we can't do what they can do. How Archie Manning was able to do that for his son. Dion wanted to do that for his son. Don't get me Eli was good. Don't get me wrong. Eli was solid, but he wasn't number one overall pick good, in my opinion. I mean, if you put him in San Diego instead of Phillip Rivers and the Giants, Phillip Rivers probably had multiple Super Bowls with the Giants, and Eli Manning is probably picking cotton in fucking Louisiana. I'm just keeping it real. Honestly with you. I don't think he's that good. But with Dion thought he can do that for his son behind the scenes. Archie did it publicly. He found out that there's difference between you and Archie. Yes, you was a better player than Archie, but Archie got the complexion for the selection. There's some things about the Manning family allegedly that went under wraps. There was an incident where, Peyton Manning was the alleged had, put his, tea bag on a chick forehead in college, and they swept that under the rug. There was an incident that you can look these things up where the other brother that hurt his knee, he snapped off and went off about the Manning family, the Cooper guy. He went off, and Archie Manning made them keep it under wraps. They didn't really break the story like that. So you got to understand what Dion found out is that, yeah, you're a greater player than you're a greater player than Archie. You're an NFL royalty. You're probably the greatest cornerback to ever live. But the problem is you don't have the complexion. You could do all that buck dancing. You can dance with the rich. If you catch my drift on that, you can dance with the you could dance with Brad. You can do all that. You can do all that. But the problem is you will never have that privilege. You will never have that privilege. And he found out. And what's so funny about it, me and my brother, he got a channel called Modern Brute. Shout out to Adonis. We was talking about one day we was talking about that, man. He said that the average, Brad and Becky would not give up their white privilege for black wealth or black or being rich black. They wouldn't trade it in. That's deep, ain't it? They would rather stay a regular, middle class, lower class citizen and maintain their white privilege than to be black and wealthy or to be black and rich. That's deep. That's deep, man. I feel like that's very, 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 very deep. And I just sat there and he said that on the phone. I'm like, damn, nigga, that's deep. I was just thinking in my head, like, woof, that's some heavy shit, you know? So Dion learned the hard way that no matter, you know, how big he is as far as stature and, you know, NFL royalty, and you still don't have that privilege, bro. You still don't have that privilege as a black man. Even with all the money in the world, you only can get so far as a brother. Ask Blaze sucking Kanye. You got all this money, but still you under control. You don't have that. You don't have the privilege of a trailer park Brad. Shit is deep, dog. The shit is deep. The shit is so deep when you think about it, and he learned the hard way. He legitimately learned the hard way. And it's not that his son is not good enough. He's arrogant and he's not. Of course, they're gonna throw those jackets on black players. You got to understand, you know, they have a superiority complex, and they see the things that they used to have, they're not having no more. They're starting to depopulate. And really, the depopulation has already been a thing. It's just that a lot of these Asians, a lot of these Mexican people on the census, they identify as white. So the numbers, when you do them surveys, a lot of them identify as white, believe it or not. I know y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but a lot of them identify as white. So they've been shrinking in population. So, and then also when you look up and you look at the NFL, and the one thing you used to have was quarterbacks. You're not even having quarterbacks no more. You like, damn, at least we used to wake up, at least we used to get up and we'd be able to have the quarterback position. And now they get up and they don't even have the quarterbacks. You look around, all the quarterbacks are brothers. So a lot of his ability as far as sliding and falling, and is his father's trying to manipulate where he go behind the scenes and then do it publicly like Archie. Two, another part of it is, around the world, especially in the black community, they hate a black person. They hate a black kid that came up with a silver spoon. They do. They hate a black kid that came up with a silver spoon. So if you came up in the game with a silver spoon, they hate you. Oh, you didn't struggle. You ain't grind. You ain't got a dog. He flashy. He gonna pop his shit. He gonna be confident. But when Johnny Manziel had this same attitude, he still got drafted in the first round. Tim Tebow ain't as good as Shedeur Sanders, but he still got drafted in the first round. Mitchell Trubisky wasn't that good. What was the brother name? Blake Bortles wasn't that good. Jake Locker wasn't that good. They do these things as a favor. That's why I tell y'all, when y'all talk about nepotism, when y'all was talking about LeBron James, what he did for his son, I didn't care, because a lot of these players, these backup quarterbacks, Tim Boyle never was trash in college and still got a backup opportunity in the NBA. I mean, in NFL. A lot of this is nepotism. A lot of this is, okay, you white, I'm white, I'm gonna give you an opportunity and draft you. That's what it is. Regardless if these guys are succeed or they don't succeed, or they succeed or they don't care. Daniel Jones had one good year. Everybody knew he wasn't going to sustain that, especially without Saquon Barkley. They still paid him. So you have to understand, bro, there is they have that superiority complex. They want to hold as many of these positions as possible. So anything they can get you for. That's why Charlie Ward said, "Oh, if I don't go in the first round, man, I ain't going to the NBA, NFL." Shout out to him for getting the job at FAMU, the basketball job at FAMU. He said, "I ain't going to the NFL. Fuck it." I don't blame him. So you have to understand, bro, they have a vendetta. So they, what did the old racist owner of the Panthers tell Cam Newton? He said, "You got any tattoos?" Cam said, "No." He said, "Let's keep it that way." Come on. They want you to be clean cut, no long hair. That's what they want. Say all the right thing. They don't want personality. That's what I want them to celebrate. You got to understand, you dealing with baby boomers. You dealing with old, decrepit white folks who never understand. That's why I said them running the country is insanity. It's in fucking sanity. Age is not always the recipe for wisdom or the recipe for progressing anything in the right way. It has wisdom, but it don't mean it's in touch with what's going on right now. But it is what it is, man. But blessings come in disguise. So hopefully it's a blessing for the brother, man. But I know a lot of black people who don't like Dion. Oh, yeah, I'm glad he didn't get drafted. And like I said before, they talk about how black people are the downfall of Shannon Sharp, and it is. They're the ones that's modern day lynching him on the internet. But then you will root against a young brother like this. But man, check out the NFL playlist, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Hit the link in the description. You can find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Check out my other channels, my Detroit channel, my Free Game 89 channel. All that's in the link tree. Peace.